We lied, saplings. We're still in the 80s.
We are still in the 80s. Because it got stuck again.
Still because of Moses.
Yep.
Or maybe because of Andy.
Ooh. That's right, Chip. All right, let's go. Let's get this done. Numbers 13.
Numbers 13 still.
Numbers 25.
I'm going to read.
I'm going to let you read 25 to the end, please.
Whoa. All right. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. That should have been a clue to them. Mm-hmm. See, if only they knew about the numbers.
Yep.
And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou sent us, and surely it flowed with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. And the Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. Silly. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
Okay, so there's several things in here, right? So we've talked about this.
A lot of people trying to figure out something.
Right. Is God trying to reveal things, right? We've talked about, hey, what are we focused on, right? Are we focused on inhabiting the land, or are we focused on possessing the land, right? We talked about the fact that God told them, I'm going to possess the land for you. I'm going to do that part of it. You worry about inhabiting. So again, these guys come back and they give a great report. Yep, exactly like God told us. It was flowing with milk and honey, got beautiful grapes, all these things, right? It will be fun to inhabit this land is really what you could say, right? But where's their focus? Their focus, though, is on we can't possess this land. Right? Because these guys are bigger than us. These guys are stronger than us. These guys, we're like grasshoppers, and these guys, they're focused on the possess thing, which we talked about when we get ready for that job interview. Are you ready to inhabit or possess? Like, where's your focus? Most of us so concerned about possessing it that we're not worried about inhabiting it, right? So notice the difference, right? Two of the guys, they get done at the report, and Joshua and Caleb stand forward and they go, let's do it, let's go get it. But the other 10 are focused on, we can't possess this land. There's no way we can possess this land, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So here's my question as we talk to our seedlings and saplings, right? My question is, how do we encourage them today and ourselves to not focus on possession, but focus on being ready to inhabit? That's the first thing. But second is how to even entertain opportunities that God is putting ahead of us when we don't think there's any way we can ever possess them.
It's always about your focus.
What do you mean?
It's always about your focus. The focus has to be on Jesus. We can't do anything. Like I always say, like, I can't do anything.
Right.
I literally can do nothing. I can't make these videos.
Yep.
I can't run the races I've run. I can't get the jobs that I've gotten. I can't hit the sales that I got. I can't do any of the things. I literally suck.
Yeah. Yep.
Nothing. Like, I can't heal sicknesses that I have. I can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I have, like, it's a Smith Wigglesworth thing, right? When he was talking about healing, he said, don't look at the symptoms. We look at the symptoms of something instead of looking at Jesus. It's the same exact concept with everything. It's everything is a symptom or a circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? So they're looking at well, of course God's giving you something you can't get yourself. Duh.
Yep.
How's he going to get glory if you could just go get it yourself?
Ooh, I hope they heard that right there, because how is God going to get glory if you can just go possess something?
Right. So like we cannot. It's pointless.
Right.
If it's from God, forget about there is no process. The process is you wake up every day and ask God, what do you want me to do today? That's the process. Like, that's what you really have to do, or else you're just going to be this, and you're screwing up, and you're in my Bible in dark gray, which means you're sinning.
Yep.
So, we gotta knock ourselves down a few pegs.
Notice that two of them stand up and say, "Hey, let's go do this. We're ready. Let's go inhabit this land," right? Because God's already said He's going to possess it for them.
Right. So you could say that's a positive thing because they trust God and they're like, doesn't matter.
Right. So
God said.
So do we go to a job interview worried about possessing the job, or do we worry about telling them what will happen if we inhabit this job? Right. But notice that the other 10 start a bad report. Right. They start talking about the people here will devour the people. Think that through, and how we do that all the time about situations.
Yeah.
When we think we can't, God's not going to allow us to possess something, we start focusing on all of the negative. We start focusing on all of the things that are going to devour us.
But again, these aren't even real.
Right.
Like we talked this morning about reality and what's in our head.
Yep.
Like, okay, there's giants, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're going to do something. It doesn't mean anything. It just means they exist. Like, the enemy puts all this crap in our heads about, like, well, here's what's most likely to happen. Who the heck are we? Like, what do you know what's most likely to happen? That's so ignorant and dumb when you say it. And, like, when you think about, when we say all these things, like, oh, here's how it's going to go, and here's how it's going to go. And I'm very convicted because I do it too, all the time. Like, it's so prideful. I don't know anything.
So I love what you said earlier. So we're going to tie this into this whole thing, right? God wants to get the glory. So doesn't it make sense to have the biggest giants possible in front of us to get the glory?
Yeah.
So God's going to do the impossible. God's going to do the improbable. God's going to allow the giants to be so big, so huge, so humongous.
There's no way you could twist it and take credit.
He gets the credit. All we have to worry about is inhabiting it, right? So again, God's going to, I don't know how God's going to do it, but God's going to heal. God's going to take care of this. God's going to provide. God's going to protect. God's going to do all of these things, right? Even though it's stage 4 cancer, even though it looks like there's no way we're going to get to keep our job or we'll ever get this job, even though it looks like there's no way that relationship could ever happen, even though it looks like, hey, I'm feeling this way, and all the signs point to there's something really wrong, and God says, no, I'm just letting giants come in so that when I do this, you understand who gets the glory. Our response needs to be like Caleb and Joshua. Let's do it. Let's go. Too often, though, I'm like the other 10. I'm spreading a bad report about the job, partly to make people feel better what happens if they don't get it, right? Like, guys, like, what happens if this doesn't work out for you? Well, it was never really going to work anyway. Like, there's all these problems. Like, there's how automatically we go to all of the negatives, right? Automatically we start justifying and rationalizing why. It'll be all right if I don't get this job because here's all the downside.
Yeah, no.
It's a very simplistic view.
It is for me right now. I'm just like, I don't know why we think we know everything.
We don't.
We think we know so much. And we don't know anything.
Yeah, and all God says to us is, you worry about inhabiting. I'll worry.
It's like, worry about today, right now.
That's right. But today is going to help you.
It's his job to take care of tomorrow.
It's exactly right. That's
if you have one.
There you go. We might not have one. So we better take advantage of today. Full advantage of today.
Amen.
All right. Wrap it up. We're done.
We just did. All right. Well, there you go. Numbers 13. Congratulations, saplings. You know how to get through a testy pausey thing. Not really. Probably just going to have one anyway, so. Sorry. Deal with it. Trust God. Yeah, just get yourself out of it. Shove yourself out of the way of everything. Everything that you're thinking. You don't have to be like talking in front of people. You could just be in your own mind. You need to shove yourself out of the way and just be like, you know what? I don't know anything.
Yep.
I don't know anything. We don't know anything. And that's it. You just have to seriously trust God and ask Him every single day when you wake up, what do you want me to do today? And stop talking about tomorrow and stop talking about yesterday. Let's just worry about right now.
Amen.
We love you, saplings. Have a great week.